The wind on the balcony of the Alpina Lodge was biting, cutting through layers of cashmere like a razor. Alaric stood shivering, not from the cold, but from the sudden, absolute silence of his phone. It wasn't a connection error. It was an execution. 5 minutes ago, he was the king of the Alps. Now, he was a ghost. But before Alaric froze on that balcony, we have to go back 48 hours to the moment he made the most expensive mistake of his life. Aspen in December is a playground for people who think they own the world. Alaric Vance certainly thought he did. The snow fell in thick, expensive flakes outside the panoramic window of the penthouse suite. Inside, the fire roared. And so did Alaric's ego. Standing next to him was not his wife, Elara. It was Kaya, a 22-year-old influencer whose laughter sounded like glass breaking. She held a glass of vintage champagne in one hand and Alaric's platinum black card in the other. It catches the light perfectly. Kaya giggled, tilting the credit card so the hologram shimmered against the snowy backdrop. Let's take a picture. The card, the view, us. It's a vibe. Alaric smiled, that lazy, arrogant smile of a man who hasn't heard the word no in a decade. He wrapped an arm around her waist. Make sure you get the mountain, he said. I want them to see what success looks like. He thought he was untouchable. He thought success was the card in her hand and the suit on his back. He forgot that success is actually the person who signs the checks, and Alaric hadn't signed a real check in years. Kaya snapped the photo. Flash on. The reflection in the window was crystal clear. Alaric, Kaya, the champagne, and the platinum card. Send it to me, Alaric said, loosening his tie. I want to post it on my private story. Let the boys at the firm weep. Kaya's thumbs moved faster than her brain. She hit times, share at, but she didn't send it to Alaric's private folder. In her haste, distracted by the champagne and the altitude, she tapped the wrong icon. She sent the photo to the group chat labeled Vance Family Holidays. The chat included Alaric's mother, his sister, and Elara. 4,000 miles away, in a rain-soaked London townhouse, Alaric Vance's phone buzzed on the marble kitchen island. She was organizing tax receipts, her hair pulled back in a severe practical bun. She expected a message about Christmas dinner logistics. She unlocked the phone. The image loaded. There he was, her husband of 15 years, the man she had built a company with, holding another woman. Most women would scream. Most would throw the phone. Elara did neither. She zoomed in. She wasn't looking at the betrayal. She was looking at the details. She saw the platinum card. She saw the location tag. She saw the date. She set the phone down gently. She took a sip of her tea. Then, with fingers that didn't tremble even slightly, she typed 2 words into the family chat. Great angle. That calmness, that is terrifying. Screamers eventually get tired. Criers eventually forgive. But the quiet ones? The quiet ones are plotting. Alaric should have known. Elara was the one who negotiated their hostile takeovers. He was just the face. She was the brain. Back in Aspen, Alaric's phone pinged. He glanced at it, expecting praise from his friends. He saw the group name. He saw the photo. He saw Elara's comment. Great angle. The blood drained from his face so fast it left him dizzy. He snatched the phone from the table, his thumb hovering over the delete for everyone button. But it had been seen by 4 people. 2 blue ticks next to Elara's name. What's wrong? Kaya asked, sensing the shift in the air. Did the card decline? Shut up, Alaric snapped, panic rising in his throat like bile. He typed frantically. Elara, it's not what it looks like. It's a photo shoot. For the brand. 3 dots appeared. Elara was typing. Alaric held his breath. The dots vanished. She didn't reply. Then, his mother left the group. His sister left the group. Alaric stood alone in the digital silence. We have to go, he said, grabbing his coat. Pack your bags. Now. But we just got here, Kaya whined. I said pack, Alaric roared. He needed to get back to London. He needed to spin this. He could fix it. He always fixed it. He just needed to buy her something expensive. A villa. A boat. Yes, a boat would fix this. He grabbed the platinum card from the table. I'm going to settle the bill. Be ready in 10 minutes. He marched down to the lobby, his boots heavy on the polished wood floor. He slammed the black card onto the reception desk. The concierge, a man named Henri with a face made of stone, looked up. Checking out, Mr. Vance? Emergency, Alaric barked. Just run it. Henri swiped the card. A moment of silence. A sharp beep. I'm sorry, sir, Henri said, his voice dropping an octave. Declined. Try it again, Alaric said, his laugh nervous and thin. That card has no limit. Henri swiped it again. Beep. Code 04, sir. Pickup card. That's impossible, Alaric shouted, drawing stairs from the lobby. Call the bank. I don't need to call the bank, Alaric. The voice came from the lounge chair by the fireplace. Alaric turned. Sitting there, legs crossed, sipping a hot chocolate, was a man in a grey suit. It was Mr. Sterling, the company's CFO. Alaric blinked. Sterling? What are you doing in Aspen? Sterling stood up, buttoning his jacket. He didn't look at Alaric with respect anymore. He looked at him like he was a bad investment. I'm not in Aspen, Alaric. I'm in the Geneva office. You're on speakerphone. Sterling pointed to the phone on the concierge's desk. What is going on? Alaric demanded. This is the moment. The moment he realizes the floor isn't just slippery, it's gone. He thought the money was his because his name was on the card. He forgot who paid the bill at the end of the month. Elara called an emergency board meeting 20 minutes ago. Sterling's voice crackled through the speaker. She presented the photo and the expense reports for this trip and the previous 3 trips. It's a misunderstanding, Alaric yelled. It's embezzlement, Alaric, Sterling corrected. Using corporate funds for personal entertainment. The board voted unanimously. You're out. Effective immediately. Your assets are frozen pending the audit. Alaric looked at the platinum card on the desk. It was just a piece of plastic now. A useless rectangle. You can't do this, Alaric whispered. I built this company. No, Sterling said. Elara's father built the company. Elara expanded it. You just attended the parties. Click. The line went dead. Henri, the concierge, gently took the black card and slipped it into a drawer. Do you have another form of payment, Mr. Vance? The suite is $8,000 a night. Alaric checked his pockets. He had $40 in cash and a watch that Elara had given him. He looked at the elevator. Kaya was coming down with her Louis Vuitton luggage. She saw the look on his face. She saw the manager waiting. She didn't need to be a genius to do the math. Is the car ready? Kaya asked, looking past him. Kaya, Alaric started, reaching for her hand. There's been a snag. She looked at his hand like it was covered in mud. You're broke, aren't you? It's temporary, he pleaded. Just cover the room. I'll pay you back double next week. Kaya laughed. It was the same laugh from the penthouse, but now it sounded sharp enough to cut skin. "I don't date. Temporary. Alaric." She signaled the bellboy. "Take my bags to the airport shuttle." Alone, she walked out into the snow without looking back. Alaric spent the night in the lobby. They wouldn't let him back into the room. At 6 a.m., the morning shift manager asked him to leave the premises. He walked out into the Aspen dawn. It was -10 degrees. He was wearing a dinner jacket. The cold hit him like a physical blow. He walked to the edge of the town, where the signal was strong, and tried to call Elara. 1 ring, 2 rings. Voicemail. He left a message. He begged. He cried. He promised to change. He told her he loved her. 5 minutes later, his phone buzzed. A notification. It wasn't a text. It was a bank alert. Joint account closed. Balance transferred to Vance Trust. And then a single email. He opened it with freezing fingers. It was a photo. It was a photo of the view from their London bedroom window. Rain on the glass, a packed suitcase by the door, and on the bedside table, his wedding ring, left behind. The caption was simple. Asterisk, better view. Asterisk, Alaric dropped the phone into the snow. He looked up at the mountain he had wanted to conquer, the peak he wanted to show off. It didn't look majestic anymore. It just looked cold. He realized then that he had never been the climber. He was just the equipment she carried. And she had finally decided to lighten the load. Alaric lost the money, the girl, and the status in under an hour. But the real tragedy? He never realized that Elara was the only person who actually liked him, not his wallet. He traded a diamond for a piece of glass because the glass sparkled more. Now, he has to live with the shards. So, here is the question for the jury. Elara didn't just divorce him, she completely destroyed him, leaving him penniless in the snow. Was this justice served cold, or did she take it too far? If you were Elara, would you have pressed the button? Let's argue in the comments.